Europe is back open for business. Years of pandemic-related travel restrictions may be behind us, but border controls are becoming stricter than ever in an effort to eliminate security concerns. The region is enacting some major changes that will affect American visitors directly, as well as other non-Europeans. Hey guys, it's Caitlin here from How to Europe. Welcome! The goal of this channel is to help prepare you for a stress-free, enjoyable trip to Europe using all the tips and tricks I've learned over the last 8 years of living in and around the region. So if you're heading to Europe soon, this video will help you navigate all of the new travel regulations that are rolling out this year and next year. So let's go. Before we get ahead of ourselves, if it's been a while since you've traveled, do yourself a favor and track down your passport, dust it off, and check the expiration date. According to the European Commission, your passport must be valid for at least 3 months beyond the date on which you intend to leave the Schengen territory. They also require travelers to have at least 2 empty pages for stamps, even if stamps are about to become a thing of the past. More on that later. Nearly all of Europe plays by the same passport requirements, thanks to the Schengen zone. If you're a Europe newbie, no shame in the game. The Schengen is a European zone consisting of 27 countries which have abolished internal borders, making it easy to travel between them. Number 2. Are COVID restrictions really gone? If you dared to travel to Europe in the last few years, you'll remember needing to show proof of vaccination and negative COVID tests. European countries have fully lifted entry restrictions regardless of vaccination status. But it's important to remember that these things are subject to change, and every EU member sets its own rules, so you should always check the latest restrictions before traveling just to be safe. But what happens if you get COVID or something else during your trip? I'm thinking of doing a travel insurance comparison video, so if that would be of interest to you, type the code word hospital in the comments. And of course, if there are other things you want to see a video on, feel free to add that as well. Number 3. What is ETIAS and when does it start? Okay everyone, grab your tissues, you're about to be $7 poorer.
Broken, I can't forget it. I'm heartbroken, I've reached my limit.
Europe is introducing an electronic authorization called ETIAS, which stands for European Travel Information and Authorization System, which Americans and anyone else from a country that has a visa-free agreement with the Schengen zone will need to enter the territory, but not until 2024, and it's been delayed. Also, if you happen to be under 18 or over 70, you don't have to pay. I think we're getting off pretty easily with only having to pay $7.50. We'll also be able to use the ETIAS for multiple entries, and it will be valid for 3 years, or until the travel document you used in your application expires. If you're worried about an upcoming trip, you should definitely sign up for updates on the website and subscribe to this channel where I'll do a follow-up video of how to apply when it's possible. Number 4, the new entry-exit system, S. If you're a criminal on the run or thinking of coming to Europe and overstaying your visa, think again. Manual border checks and potentially passport stamps are about to be a thing of the past. All incoming visitors will soon be subject to biometric authentication, making it much harder for lawbreakers to stay under the radar. This is also part of the ETIAS rollout, which will be launched around November of this year, so bring your fingertips. If this new rule will affect you somehow, I don't know, maybe some people have biometric data phobias, let me know in the comments. And number 5, the Schengen zone is changing. It's growing. We've been mentioning Europe and the Schengen as 2 different things, and this bit of news will show how long-term travelers in Europe will be affected. Although Schengen is deeply intertwined within the European Union, there are still EU nations lying outside of the borderless agreement. Croatia used to be one of the most popular places to hang out and wait for the clock to reset on the 90 days out of 180 that eligible tourists are allowed to spend in the Schengen zone. So if you don't know what that means, you spend 90 days inside, 90 days outside. It doesn't reset if you leave the country for a couple days and come back. Anyway, it doesn't end there. More countries like Romania and Bulgaria could be joining the Schengen soon, which would permanently alter the landscape for long-term travel in Europe, meaning that there will be fewer and fewer, let's say, desirable places left on the continent to kill time in. But until that happens, you can join Andrew Tate in Schengen-free Romania. One final note, there's a lot of country-specific things going on in Europe that are pretty touch and go, so we'll be covering important updates here. Thanks again for watching How to Europe. Subscribe, stick around, and we'll see you next week.